ordered, should have value, transparent to everybody, incomplete. When do you say your product backlog is done? When the product development completes, right? Now managed continuously includes all the work outside the backlog. You don't have to do anything. Sized, emergent, dynamic. Right? Incomplete, yes. I may always get new ideas and put it into the backlog. Scope creep, we discussed it, right? There is no, welcome changing requirements even late in the software development. Agile process harness, help for the customer competitive advantage. Principle number 2. Very nice. Next, you help me to say, if you think it is correct, thumbs up. It's not correct, thumbs down. Sorry? This is there. Actually, I wrote many articles in Scrum Alliance. If you go to scrumalliance.org and you type my first name or last name, Bandaru, I wrote about development team related, product owner, a product owner's journey from traditional to agile, how it works, I wrote it. This is related to product backlog. When you have to run the product backlog refinement, that also there. Okay, good. First one. Can you read it? I don't see many hands. Am I teaching that bad? Oh, good, okay. Second one. Anyone can add items. Third one. No, anything, transparency, right? I saw many teams, what they do is, they take 5 stories and they take some under the carpet stories. Transparency, if that is really, really important. See, one thing is, principle number 7, working software is the primary measure of the progress, right? How do we know? When you keep the product backlog visible, when you have clear definition of done created, when you say this is done, this is not done, right? So it should be visible to you, to not only to the development team, all the people, product backlog. There is no under carpet work. If you have to do something for a technical enhancement, for example, the current architectural may not be sufficient, I need to do some kind of architectural enhancement. Product owner may not be aware of that, but you as a technology team should help him understanding, if you don't do this, when we get 1,000 users concurrent hits, our product will not be stable. For that, we need to do it. So, next sprint, we are going to do that. Collaboration. Yes, but the prioritization should be done only by the product owner. Okay, let me ask you a question. Now the question is, you are working in a sprint and there is a very important item and product owner wants to make it to the sprint, current sprint, right? What is number 2, principle number 2? Welcome changing requirement. If that is really, really urgent, we may have to collaborate and maybe you need to remove something out, but the sprint goal cannot be changed. If it is related to the current sprint goal, then you may have to collaborate and decide that. It is very unlikely because reason is, what is the sprint duration? Maybe 2 weeks? It can wait for 2 weeks, right? If may not be, yes, then you have to inspect and adapt and then do the necessary things. Backlog and then come to here. Yes, good. The next one. For those who cannot read from the back, a single development team works from multiple product backlogs. Can it be vice versa? Yes. One backlog, multiple teams? Yes. That is what is scaling. We discussed, okay, good. Next one. Good, next one. A big no, it fluctuates. Okay, next. Which one? Once an item placed into product backlog, it will, that means you place it somewhere in between. Will it not change the order? Good. Next one. As I said, PPF, right? Past, present, future. Of course. Not necessarily. You may have something which is not really, really urgent, but very small, can go to the bottom of the backlog. Now, good, very good. So you have vision, right? So everybody has created your vision for some product. Try to create a product backlog quickly, 5 minutes. Whatever vision you had, this is your vision instead of this, whatever you created. For that vision, try to come up with the product backlog. It's a 5 minutes, time boxed, teamwork. Okay.
Our project is about, okay, it's a indie breakfast. For this, this is a breakfast serving project basically. So the backlog is compile the catalog, order placing process, tracking order process, then there will be a feedback process, loyalty, account management, audits, reports, analytics, supply management and inventory, billing. These are the backlogs items.
It's fantastic that all these things seem to be epics, yes. Right? Now when you go for release planning, you may want to do a, right? So how does it happen? Let us understand quickly on product backlog refinement before we move to. So if you look at the traditional way of working, how does it look like? You will have like this. This is your, I hope everybody can see it. This is my planning and this is my execution, right? Correct or not? Now, you saw that planning is divided into multiple levels: product vision, roadmap, release, iteration, and then daily. We do the same thing, but we don't spend too much time in the initial initial time because it is not guaranteed. So how we do? It is like this. This is my plan, this is my execution. I divide this into multiple sprints. Now this is called initial product backlog refinement. The high level epics may be discussed and debated, and then estimation, release planning, all those things, that, right, initial product backlog refinement, what technology should be used, what kind of team composition, it is outside of the Scrum. Now this is your sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, sprint 4, like this. Now this, while you are executing the current sprint, you spend little bit time in refining the backlog to next 1 or 2 sprints. Why? Why should we do that? What happens if you don't have the product backlog refinement? Now this is your first sprint. What happens after first sprint? Immediately second sprint starts. Now by the time you come here for planning, no items are available readily to be picked up. What happens? Your velocity goes down. So in order to keep it, you will have a product backlog refinement, which is not an official event of Scrum, which is called as an activity. You do, there is no hard and fast rule that you should be doing at the middle of the sprint. It is up to you. Some teams, they spend like every day half an hour like that. So what Scrum Guide suggests is not more than 10% of the capacity of the sprint should be spent more on the product backlog refinement. So here what do? You discuss the items, you split items, you estimate, you create your acceptance test criteria, you create user interfaces, whatever it is required, so that by the time you come here, items are readily available, which is matching your sustainable pace principle number 8. Generally why we do it in the middle of the sprint is, suppose during the product backlog refinement, team has posted so many questions to the product owner. He does not know the answers. This time he can use it to go back to the customers, do the homework, and come back. By the time you come here, they will be available. Right? PBR. What? product, backlog, refinement. Good. Now let us talk about user stories. Please make a note, this is not a Scrum terminology. This has come from Ron Jeffries. It's an XP practice. What is a story? What is a story? Which is not there, really, right? So explaining the requirement from the end user point of view is called user story concept. There is a specific format. As a persona or user, I want to do some action so that the benefit and value. This represents who is interacting with the system. This represents what he is trying to do. This represents why he wants to do it, right? Now, as a branch manager, when I log into the system, I want to see all the current day deposits. Make sense? As a regional manager, when I log into the system, I want to see all the cumulative deposits of all my branches under my region. Two different users. Persona means a fictitious representation of the users who are going to interact with your system, right? Now, there is a concept called extreme persona. What can be extreme persona? This tool, can it be used by both left hand and right hand in an equal manner? Yes. Unique design, right? Now I hope you got it. Okay, let me post you one more example. You are constructing a railway platform. What could be your extreme personas? Wheelchairers. Because unless you consider them, if you don't build the slope, they cannot use it. So when you are identifying personas, also try to identify, are there any special personas which we need to cater their uses. Good. What happens if I don't have this? I don't have this line. No value. No value. So that means I cannot prioritize. Yes, sir. Persona is a fictitious representation of the user who is going to interact. For example, the example that Lizzy has taken, that pet, whoever is interacting with that web application could be your personas. Sorry? Okay. Yeah, correct. Whoever has some special requirements could be. Now, let's go a little bit deeper. There is a concept called 3C, card, conversation and confirmation. What is important here? Okay, I was telling one example there when somebody asked, please write it down. I want a cake. I want a cake or and sandwich. I want a cake and sandwich or a Coke. What is my requirement? You are not clear, right? That is where this card is just to place the further discussion. You put the story actually driven by this conversation. Who are part of this conversation? Could be the product owner and the development team. They keep on discussing. Once they discuss, they agree on confirmation. What do you mean by confirmation? Acceptance criteria. Acceptance criteria, yes. Sorry? Because those stories or requirement belong to some users. As a branch manager, no, story nothing but normal story. User story, when we talk in Agile, it belongs to XP. It does not belong to Scrum. The requirements expressed in a fictitious characteristic is called user story. Ron Jeffries has introduced this concept. It could be end user also. Suppose system also can be as a system, I want to get a backup every day. As an admin, I should have facility to change the approval levels. It could be anything. Yes, as a PO, I want something. For example, look at that board. As a student, I want to do something. As a trainer, I want to do something. All this. Yes, PO is supposed to create user stories, but the thing is, you don't wait for him. If you know, you create and ask for the priority, then take it. That's what is the collaboration we talk about. In Scrum, it is called product backlog item. User story is coming from XP terminology. A lot of people use that, so that is why we are discussing. Even you don't discuss in Scrum class, does not make any difference for you.
Anyone can add.
Yes, anyone can add. Format, okay, good question. Format is not also important. You don't need to use the format for defect. As a developer, I want to fix bug number 375. Where there is a business value included, you should understand what is that business value. Why for example, let me give you an example. Suppose we are building a menu system for a hotel. As a cashier, I want to include rasgulla to the South Indian thali so that I get 10 extra customers per day. Because being a cashier, I might have observed that every day 10 or 15 people coming in. Do you have rasgulla in thali? No. Okay, I'm not interested. I'm leaving. So he found that if you add it, 10 customers may be coming. Value proposition. Right? That is how you should do it. Good. Are you clear? Card, conversation, confirmation? Confirmation will be a collaborative effort, but the product owner gives you the acceptance criteria. Good. This is the user story example, and these are some acceptance criteria, and this is why user stories. Now, there's a concept called specification by example. Sometimes you might need to work on some critical requirements like pension calculation, right? There are a lot of rules, lot of calculations are involved. Now you can ask the product owner, you know what, can you give me some examples? Okay, just retired to 58 years, this is the calculation. 59 to 65, this is the calculation. So what you are doing here, you are creating some examples which will help you to elaborate the requirements, at the same time will help you to create your test cases. Those test cases will help you to validate once you implement the requirement. This is called specification by example. Again, will you use it for all user stories? Need not be. Where you think it is some critical, rework should be eliminated. How can you eliminate? Using these techniques, right? Good. While coming to this class, I did not have breakfast. So what I thought is, let me buy, I saw an advertisement, by the way. What is a chocolate advertisement? If you get hungry, you will become heroine kind of thing, right? So I thought Snickers, let me buy a Snicker. So I went